Welcome back to Girl Talk. Well, we love our technology when it's working. When it's not, it's extremely frustrating. That's probably
stressful.
That's probably not even giving it full justice. Lucky for us, our next guest is passionate about technology. Better yet, passionate about your technology. Our guest today is Kalal Cunningham from Madison Geeks on Odana Road. Thanks for joining us. We're really looking forward to getting some tips.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, welcome.
Yes.
Thanks for coming.
Let's start out with some of the big stuff. So there's always scams out there. What are some of the popular computer scams that are going on right now?
Well, you know, some of the most popular ones that we see coming through our shop are email scams, phone scams, and, you know, just the email scams are ones that we've seen around for a while. You get, you know, the prince of Alibaba or someone from some different country who's a millionaire. They have some frantic issue. They need to come out.
Distant relative.
Yep,
and you got intelligence coming.
So you do things without thinking. Now that's an old one. Most people bypass it, even though we still have a few that still get sucked into that. The other scams are a little bit more troublesome. You have scams that come through that are telling you that you have a package that never arrived. It's in New York. You click it. You try to figure out what's going on. Well, it's a nasty virus that will come through. And not that there's not a UPS actual, valid one, but a lot of these are fraudulent. They'll come through and they'll, encrypt your data. And at that point, they'll hold your information as ransom, and they want you to give them money to, decrypt their information.
And get access back.
Yep.
That is terrifying.
Yep, it's very
It
scary.
is, and they're
Yep.
using really familiar names that we know and trust,
Exactly.
like UPS
Yep.
and
USPS.
FedEx.
Industry
FedEx.
related. Because I'm a realtor and I've got ones that are like, I've got a lakefront property,
Yep.
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like,
Something to be very vigilant about and be
Yeah.
very cautious of, because it's very concerning.
And I've heard, and I try to be cautious, but I don't really know when and when not to. But using public Wi-Fi,
Yep.
is that a dangerous thing? And if so, how do you keep yourself from getting hacked while using a public Wi-Fi access?
Well, it's a dangerous thing. Unfortunately, it's familiar to a lot of us. We go to the coffee shop, we go to the library, we go to the hotel, airport for that matter, and most of these companies are securing their network, so when you're on there, you're not, talking to everybody else, but it's dangerous because there's something called the man in the middle. So I could be the hacker over in the corner, you could be on your Facebook, your bank account, just your email, and I can actually make my machine pretend it's the middle router. So when you're communicating,
Sure.
I'm just collecting all your information.
Wow.
And so that's why it's dangerous. Now, ways to protect, you can, I don't know, a lot of people have internet on their phones now, their smartphones, so you can broadcast that and just use your own internet connection. But if you absolutely need to use public Wi-Fi, maybe go and do some research about VPNs, virtual private networks. This allows you to kind of go through and you're creating your own environment, and then that's allowing it to go out to the internet without anybody else being able to see what you're doing.
nice.
So maybe it's better to use some of that data sometimes instead of jumping
You
in
got
on
it.
free
Oh,
Wi-Fi.
I mean, otherwise you're going to end up paying for it some
Sure.
other way.
Yeah.
Much more expensive.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
So what can we do if we think we might have a virus on our computer?
Well, there's many things. I mean, the biggest thing is to call a geek. But otherwise, there's a lot of free tools out there that can allow for you to scan on your, whether it's an Apple. A lot of people say I don't get viruses on Apple. That's not true. Cell phones get viruses, and of course PCs, Windows-based machines. So there's a lot of free online scanners that are available. There's other free scanners that you can pull down. They can be anywhere from a year's trial or 30-day trial, at least to let you know if you have a bug that's on the machine. Depending if the virus is relatively recent, you can do these scanners and they can typically, clean up the machine and then just kind of be a little bit more cautious on what you're clicking on later on.
Sure.
But, at the end of the day, you want to still probably get somebody to look at it, but the trick is to, first determine or help yourself determine if you have a virus by, doing some kind of self-scanning.
Sure.
I imagine backing up is another important thing. I admit I'm a little guilty on that.
Right.
Talk to us about backing up your data.
Yeah, well, backing up, we're all guilty on. So, I mean, this is one of the biggest issues that we have that people come in with. So you want to just make sure you have redundancy. You have your information in two places at all time. I have a lot of people that bring in a backup drive, and that drive is the only drive that they're using for their information. So have it on two drives if you have to do that, or make sure it's in the cloud. On a thumb drive, you just want to have multiple locations with this information, because otherwise you're going to be at a loss when it fails.
Sure. So I have been using, we talked about this earlier, I've been using the same password forever. What is a good practice to create an awesome password or more than one and keep track of them all?
Right. Well, I mean, there's password keepers that you can keep on your phone to at least keep, passwords that are in there, so you can use different passwords. But you want to definitely use characters, uppercase characters, numbers, patterns that are not going to be easy for the average Joe to guess, because that's, I get a lot of machines in and we ask what the password is and they say password. So
Password 1, 2, 3. That's not mine.
Well, we are unfortunately out of time. We must have you back. These are all really important and interesting things. Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back. We have Conant Automotive coming up next.